Hi, I'm designer Jen Gallagher and welcome to the final video in the Crop and Create Delivered 2015 Spring Kit titled Blossoms and Breezes. In this particular layout, we're going to be using the kit to create an Easter layout. Now this kit works for anything from spring items and activities to weddings and now even to Easter. You can just stretch it to mix and match and make whatever you want. To start with, I'm going to do some tone-on-tone stamping on the actual layout. But I want to get a feel for where the photo will be. We're going to take some of these flower stamps, and I've already placed one on this acrylic block, and we're going to stamp around where the photo will eventually appear. So I've got the photo laying on my layout so I can get a visual idea of where it will be on my layout. Once I have that done, I can start adding some of these stamped images. And you can see what I'm trying to create down here is just kind of a cluster of flowers. Once you have done one of the flowers, you can pick another one, and there's 3 different flower shapes to choose from. There are also die cuts that coordinate with these particular stamped images, so be sure to check those out as well. But again, we're just kind of creating this little cluster here. And I'll do one final stamped image. And I do suggest that you clean off your stamps in between use, but to finish up this video, I'm not cleaning them right now. So again, just 3 stamped images, and that creates just a fun little subtle cluster on my layout. So let's go ahead and attach this photo to the layout now that we know where we're going to place it. And we want to just make sure that it shows those flowers. And this actually has a little design, and I always look for things like lines in the design, which helps me get my placement perfect. To the top up here, we're going to place 3 of the tags. And this will go across the top of the layout. And you'll notice that I've offset the layout a little bit, meaning that the elements occur more on the right than on the left. And that is just a personal preference. To attach this middle tag that says Fun Day, and then we can set the other tags on the page. Now rather than just leave the tags as they are, I want to decorate them up a little bit. So I'm going to take this spring flare badge, and we can attach it to the layout with a glue dot. None of these flare badges have adhesive on the back, so you'll need to use them. So I wanted to bring in a bit of yellow there. To this particular block right here, this tag, I'm going to take one of the dimensional stickers and we'll place it above that Fun Day word. And then we'll add the See the World sticker, and we're going to overlap the tag. Then before I go any further, I want to add this final tag, but I'm going to tie some yellow ribbon through this tag. This is the chevron, yellow chevron ribbon. I'm just going to tie it into a knot. And when I'm designing, my personal style is I don't like things to be completely balanced. I like them asymmetrical, meaning that they don't match on each side. So you'll notice that I'm only adding ribbon to one of the tags, but you could very well add different ribbon to each of these tags. Then I have fussy cut from the pattern paper that had all these different elements. You can see what it looks like. I just cut one out, and we're going to use our paper trimmer and trim off just a bit of that word so that it fits on our tag. And we'll just add some adhesive and mount it onto the tag. But this is a way to personalize items, is to use pattern paper elements or whatever elements you have on hand. Then to the side here, I'm going to add some additional flare pieces. We'll add the butterfly. Make sure the butterfly faces up. And then we'll add the bike. So here's the bike. And again, just make sure when you're placing the flare badges down on your page that they are facing the right direction. Right below this See the World, I'm going to take this Note to Self Be Awesome wood veneer tag or strip, and I'm just going to use some glue dots to attach it. When I attached it in the first video, I used red double-sided sticky tape because I was placing it on a fabric edge, but it will adhere to your layout just by using regular glue dots. And then from the dimensional stickers, I'm going to add some gold tipped photo corners. These are fun. You'll see little bits of gold throughout this layout, and gold is a great, almost neutral. It's just kind of a shiny element that you can add to any page. So look for ways to add gold to your project. So you can see I'm clustering things around the tags. Now to the bottom of the layout, I took some of the yellow pattern paper from this pattern paper right here. And you can see that the pattern paper follows a zigzag, and I simply fussy cut one of those zigzags out, and then I'm going to cut it based on the width of the photo. Once I've cut it out, we can adhere it right to the bottom of that photo. Try not to cover up too much of that stamped flower. And I can pull it and adjust it as needed. Then across the top there, I wanted to bring in some of the yellow that you see here on that spring flare badge. So again, using the same technique, I'm going to cut this strip of yellow cardstock a little bit longer than the actual photo. Now again, I've mentioned before, when you're using these kinds of elements and they're thin, you want to make sure you have something protective underneath what you are adding the adhesive to, so it just doesn't get all over everything. This will go across the top. Just make sure you have equal edges on both sides. Now we're going to do a little bit of a layered title, and we're going to spell out Easter routine. We'll start by adding a journaling block. I have typed this onto some craft cardstock, and we will just make sure that it bumps up right against the bottom of that yellow strip. Across the top of that journaling block, I'm going to take one of the Webster's Pages stickers that says routine. Again, I mentioned this is going to be a slightly layered title, so we just want to make sure that it is centered. Then to bring in some gold down to the bottom, I'm going to use this little bunny paper clip, and I'm going to slide it on. Just make sure that you can see all of the bunny shape. And it just kind of overlaps a little bit. It's very, very subtle. And then across the top here, we're going to spell out the word Easter. And we're going to use the gold foil thickers to do so. I will do so off camera and show you what it looks like. So here is how that title looks when layered. But I want to add a little bit more stamping. I'm realizing that I like this look down here, so I would like to add some more stamping up here. To do so, what I suggest is placing stamps on your block and getting a feel for placement. Where does it make sense that you would have these? And I'm thinking I'm going to place them around the photo. So again, using the clear acrylic block, we're going to stamp some images. Now I've already placed the photo onto the page. So I will peel it up, and then I'll use my scissors or something that is a little larger to kind of hold it up so that I can stamp right onto the layout. We're going to use a pink tone-on-tone color again. We'll ink up that stamp. And then we can stamp right into the layout. So you can see when I'm getting ready to place that photo back down that there are some additional images. Again, let's use a different stamped image to do more stamping. Now, if you wanted to stamp these out and then actually color them in or stamp them onto pattern paper or cardstock, you could do so. Be sure to note the additional embellishments, or rather icons, like the leaves or the bee. So if you wanted to do something a little different, you could add a stamped image that you then fussy cut, or you could die cut the images that are included with this particular kit, and you could make something that way. So I'm going to move the tag a little bit so I can stamp right there. Do that. So usually I would try to do this step beforehand, but sometimes when I get into a project, I start to realize that it needs something. So we'll go ahead and add one final stamped image, and that will help finish off the page. So we'll use the more open tulip looking one. We'll do it random out here on the edge. So you can see how the stamping on both sides just kind of makes it more interesting. We almost created our own pattern paper. So you want to make sure that you bring in elements from one side to the other. You'll want to make sure that if you repeat a finish, that it appears a couple of different times. But there you have a layout that uses the Crop and Create Delivered Blossoms and Breezes kit. Be sure to watch the other two videos that correspond with this collection kit, and if you're interested in using the sketch that corresponds with this particular layout, be sure to download it.